have no room for Bernard in my office. Okay, so let's get into the tea because I have a lot of reasons why I want to change my office. So obviously the first reason is it's too small. I bought this house fresh out of college. It was like a month or two after I had graduated, and I didn't really have a lot of hobbies or, you know, a lot of stuff in general. So I ended up putting my office in the smallest room possible. And since then, I have gained a lot more hobbies and I have really been enjoying crafts. And now I don't have room for things that I've been making. So that's really the biggest problem, is it's too small. And because it's too small, I've just been kind of like shoving my decorations up on top of. You can't really see what anything is anymore. And you probably didn't even notice I was trying to go with a cactus theme, like office, because everything's just kind of shoved in here. And not only that, but I also put my nail polish in front of my light switch. So every time I go to turn my light on and off, I kind of hit around my nail polish, and I don't really want to do that anymore. I think it deserves to be away from the door. Bernard is actually not the only thing that doesn't fit in here. I actually don't have room for any of my crochet or my yarn. This is what I put all my yarn in, and it's actually in the spare bedroom, which is where I want to move my office to begin with. This room has really just become like a storage room and not really a spare bedroom anymore. Like, we used to have a lot of guests when we first moved into this house, but as time has gone on, especially after, you know, 2020, we just haven't had as many guests anymore. So I want to put the spare bedroom where my office is, in the smallest room, and then I'm going to turn this into my office space / crafts room. There's two major things that I want to do, and the first thing is painting the walls. I just don't think the tan is doing anything anymore. I don't like this color, and honestly, I don't think I ever really did. And the second major thing is I'm going to change the light fixture out. So this is what the light looks like now in the room. The new light has actually come in. This is what I'm going to replace it with. I guess this is the glass part of the light. I think you call this a shade. I'm not really sure. I don't know much about lights, but this is what I want to change it out to. So since the light fixture is here, now I just need to pick out paint. And because I'm going with a cactus theme, I want to pick green. So I've been torn between these three greens. I really think this one is just a little too, like, teal, maybe blue. I don't know, that's what it kind of looks like to me. And this one's closer to like a true green. So I think I want to go more with this one. So let's go get paint. Okay, so I got paint. So it's actually been a few days. I just got off work, so I really need to clean this room out so I can start working on it. Next time you see me, we will be painting the walls. So let's get started. Okay, so the first layer of green is already done. I'm already liking this so much better. I'm sweating so bad right now. Like, I don't have hot girl summers, I have wet rat summers. So you just have to get used to it. I live in the South, I don't know what to tell you. This green is already making me feel better about this room. It does need a second coat, so probably gonna finish that today. I didn't say this before, but I do want to make an accent wall, which I'll get to that later. And also, I just now realized I must really like this color. Okay, so it's been a few days and I wanted to talk about this accent wall and share a little bit more about the house, because I know when I first started this video, I didn't really talk about the house that much. So this is a 70s build house, which you probably noticed that we're, painting on wood paneling. I feel very thankful and fortunate that I was even able to get a house, because when I got accepted for a loan, it was pretty small and there were only 2 houses that were in my price range. One was not even livable, like there was no way that we would have been able to move into it and fix it at the same time. So it left us with this house. And this house wasn't in bad shape, but don't get me wrong, there were problems with it. It was a rent house for about 20 years before we bought it, so it was just really used and abused, and the maintenance on it was pretty cheap. So we knew going in that there was going to be a lot that we were going to have to fix. The biggest thing that we've done so far is the kitchen remodel, which I did make a short about that. If you haven't seen it, I would go look at it. What I know about the house is sometime whenever it was being rented out, there was a kitchen fire, and there used to be a dedicated laundry room in this house, but the previous owner decided to use the washer and dryer to replace cabinets that had burned down in the kitchen fire. So that's ended up in our kitchen to begin with. And so if you saw my short, you probably heard me say it was out of budget to move them out. And it's because the previous owners stripped the laundry room of the plumbing, so I would have had to replace all the plumbing, and I just don't have the money to do that. And a lot of people do have a washer and dryer in their kitchen, so it doesn't bother me. I'm just glad that we made more sense out of the space than how it was before. The more work we do on the house, the more I love living here. What I really wanted was a house that I could customize and make my own. So as long as I'm happy with it, then that's all that really matters. Okay, so about the accent wall. I didn't want to lay wallpaper on it because since we are painting on wood paneling, I was afraid that the wallpaper was going to crease and not lay flat on it. I wanted to try to do a pattern with paint, and my first idea was to buy this roller. I got this off Amazon and it's got like a leaf print on it. And we tested it and there's a few problems with it. Because it's rubber, paint can't really absorb into it. So it just lays on the surface and you only get like one roll out of it, and that one roll isn't even consistent because again the paint doesn't really have anything to absorb to, and I didn't even clean it off after testing it because I don't want to use it. The thing that we thought about was cutting out a leaf pattern on a sponge. It worked okay, but there's a couple problems with it. If you apply too much pressure, you kind of lost the pattern, and also it was creating like these bubbles in the paint because sponges have holes. So it kept making this weird texture. The sponge was kind of worrying me, and plus I don't want like a weird texture on the wall either. So I just don't think the sponge is gonna work either. When we tested the roller and the sponge, I started getting worried, like maybe I should have just got wallpaper to begin with. But then I remembered we have a projector. So I think the best plan is going to be to use the projector to put up some kind of leafy pattern on the wall so we can trace it and then paint it on there. Working on this pattern, that's gonna be the easiest thing that we can do, is to use the projector to put this pattern on the wall and trace it up and then paint it. I'm just glad that we have a plan now, and I'm ready to get this accent wall done so I can move my furniture in here and get my office/crafts room put together. So let's get this wall done so I can start decorating. It's time to paint. I am on the last cluster of leaves, and then this wall will be done. So I cannot wait. I think we've been working on this for about 12 hours. So it's been a long process. If you're planning on doing this in your house, or if this has inspired you to do something like this, there is a little bit of advice I would give. I would say get good quality paint. Like, don't cheap out on the paint, because that does matter. So we went to Sherwin-Williams to get the green paint, and I almost passed out whenever I heard that it was $78 for the gallon. But we got the white paint from Lowe's, and it was $34 for the gallon, and we have almost used an entire can of the white paint just for one wall, whereas the green paint, we have done all of these leaves and 2 coats on 3 walls, and we still have a lot left over. So good quality paint does matter when you're doing something like this, and this is not sponsored. I've never gotten Sherwin-Williams paint, so I was honestly impressed whenever I used it. Piece of advice would be have a plan, obviously. Like, you probably don't want to just start painting on your wall. That's why we, wanted to use the projector or something so that it did have some cohesiveness to it. Because I wanted it to have the feel of wallpaper, but more, unique, hand painted. Because I do kind of like the look of it. Yeah, once you have a plan, you definitely would want to practice the design somewhere else. Like, I wouldn't just go straight in. And like we did, you probably want to try some different methods, because you don't know what's really going to work and what is going to fail. So before you, go to the large scale, I would try some practice on smaller scaled stuff. The last piece of advice, be patient. Because this does take a really long time. Yeah, like I said, I think we've been working on it for about 12 hours. And you are gonna mess up, so just have patience and it will all come together. We are gonna have to do some touch-ups later, but we will probably save that for tomorrow after work. Would you call this a mural? But really, I haven't done anything like this before, so I don't know if you want to take my advice. With that, it is done. I am honestly really happy with it. It looks so good. So I have a bookshelf to put together. I am not going to move the bookshelf that's in my office now in here. We have so many books that a lot are just sitting in the closet. So we kind of needed a new bookshelf anyways. So I'm going to use some editing magic and put this together real quick. Wow, if only if it was that easy. Okay, let's start moving stuff in this room. I'm obviously a huge Animal Crossing fan, but I bought this butcher block because I want to use it as the tabletop to my desk. I really like this desk, but the top of it is super thin and it has really bad monitor wobble, so I'm hoping that this is going to help. And also, I want to get my computer out of the floor, so while we're moving the desk, we're going to put this new tabletop on top of it. So I've had a couple days to really enjoy my space and take in all the work that we've done to this room. And I have to say, everything I disliked about my office before has been fixed with this makeover. My nail polish is far away from the door now and has its own little space in the room. And we also fixed things that I didn't even really consider a problem, like Leo's dog bed was taking up most of the walking space in my old office. And you can see all my decor. Also, the butcher block that we put on my desk, it solved a lot of problems that I had with it before. I'm really glad that my monitors aren't trying to fly away every time I try to do some work, so that's been nice. If you made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you so much for watching and listening to me ramble about this room makeover. I've never really made videos like this before, and honestly, this is my first time playing around with a camera, so that was a lot to take in and learn. But I hope that I'm gonna get better at it in the future. A big reason why I wanted a space like this is so that I felt like I had a dedicated spot to do bigger projects that I've been wanting to do for a long time. My other room, I really didn't have a spot to get my sewing machine out and try to learn it. I've had it for 2 years and I still have not played with it that much. And I've got a lot of big crochet projects that I want to do as well. But for now I should probably get out of here because I'm about to go celebrate my 2nd anniversary with my husband. We got tickets to go to the Immersive Van Gogh exhibit, so that's kind of fitting after doing something like this. And I have got to get ready for this crochet booth that I'm setting up this fall. I haven't made one single pumpkin and I need to crochet pumpkins before I go to a fall festival. So I better get out of here. One more thing before I go. I finally have a spot to put Bernard. Okay, let's see the before and after.